People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time. Now, as you know, Leicester and Arsenal's under 18s drew 1-1 at Leicester's place. Both teams have to share a point of the spoils. Now, I think both teams should definitely feel they could have got all 3 points, but I think on the balance of things, both sets of players is fair with what they got in. I think neither really did enough to wholeheartedly say they should take 3 points. For Arsenal, as you know, there was a whole host of changes, way too many to go into, but there was a host of changes because of what the amount of games we've had at under 23s level and 18. So that's obviously given some people other opportunities in this team. So it was a rotated side across several things. You look at Remy Mitchell, him in goal, he hasn't had too many opportunities and he's a fairly decent keeper. He's now got one. We'll get over it throughout the course of this, but there was a number of schoolboys afforded opportunities. And if you're Armani Richards, who scored, and for me, Bradley Ibrahim, who also played well, or Casada Fawn, who came off the bench, you know, I think there's positives, man. I think, listen, God knows how good these schoolboys are. I'm not going to sit and say I know everything, but I'm keen to see what they're all about. I know some have come through the academy, some have been sourced for a couple of other teams. So the more minutes they get, the more quicker they can get up to speed with under 18s football, the better. Because as you lot know, the uptake in quality from 15s up to 16s to 18s is massive, people. You know, the games are coming thick and fast. These boys are going to be training every day. And you can see it, you know, a couple of them are behind physically, a couple of them are there physically, not quite there mentally and technically, you know, and obviously they're still growing and all of those sort of things and factors to consider. So the more we can blood minutes, the better in it, sort of thing. And a couple of our best under 18s are with the 23s or preparing for the 23s. We could have used it. Miguel Aziz at this level, Kiddo Taylor Hart, Amari, none of them played, people. They're all doing what they need to do. We still got quality. You know, you've got Nathan Butler, Adeji, you know, very good player. Had a tough time with injuries of late. It is what it is. I can't lie, people. Let me share my screen with you. I thoroughly enjoyed the game of football between these two sides. I think Leicester, great team, people. Is it what's his name, man? I've seen him play a few times. I need to find it for you people because that Leicester guy, I don't know how much they rate him, but I really think he's a player. Where is he, man? Where's the Leicester Donny, man? Shout out my guy Jasper at right back as well. I've done an interview with him and he had a good game. It was a good contest, him down the right-hand side. It's like in the game, I was stuck between two places because I wanted him to play well and he was playing well, but at the same time, I wanted my team to win. But big up Leicester's number 2 as well. He came off the bench. That's his name, Sammy Baybrook. I like the look of that Leicester lad, people. Not to make this all about Leicester. I like the look of him. Obviously, he's got blonde hair, but I'm not talking about his looks. I'm talking about from a footballing perspective. He's got a good touch, can dictate the tempo. Physically, looks a bit small and that, but he's on the rough and tumble. His size don't really matter, and I don't know how old he is. In fact, I should do my research, you know, really in relation to what year he's born. But I think he's someone to keep a look on, really and truly. And Leicester all over, they've got quality players, people. Leicester have always had a good academy. So like I said, it was a heavily rotated side. You was always going to lose a bit of tempo, and you could see that for me early on in terms of, I mean, fluidity is a better word in that, you know, the regulars aren't playing. It's a bit of a mismatch. I did think it... Throughout both halves, there was periods of end-to-end stuff, but the vast majority was end-to-end. It really was enjoyable. Both teams, I wouldn't say we're moving like a prime Barcelona, but they were cutting each other up. They were trying to go forward. Maybe it was just a byproduct of the teams and their coaches and their styles and whatnot, and it just exploded. But it was end to end. We could have went a goal down on a couple of occasions. I think Leicester had a very good end to the game. Bradley Ibrahim, I'm pretty sure it was him. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he actually cleared a goal line header off the line very early on, people. I did feel early on Amari Richards, just because of the runs he's making, and Nathan, they look to be our brightest players, but still in the final third, the quality just isn't there through all of our boys. We're crossing, it's over hit, it's under hit, you know, you know the obvious. It's just not there quite there, and the same can be said for Leicester, in my opinion. And like I said, it was end to end. It was an enjoyable game, but neither side is harming the other really for large periods beyond the obvious. Second half is when it happened, innit? 10 minutes into the second half, obviously two schoolboys have linked up. I say schoolboys, I should say young men, in Bradley Ibrahim and Amari Richards. And Amari's got his first goal at this level. Forgive me if I'm wrong. He might actually have another one, to be fair, but he's got a goal in it. The former Chelsea lad, he's now signed for us. He's someone that I'm sure you've seen him do the things with the Rising Ballers and BBC, and it's well documented his move to the club. Let's just let the lad develop, but he looks decent. I'm still learning a lot about him from what I've seen. I think he makes a good run off the ball. I think he's again, I have to see a bit more to make comment, but I like how he's not scared. He wants the ball. He doesn't shy away from it. Some players at first team level, you see that. I don't think he suffers from that. I did think in the second half, it carried on in the same vein. We are breaking with intent, as is Leicester, but our end product and decision making, once again, is letting us down. I'm struggling to really provide it from an Arsenal perspective because it was quite enjoyable to watch both teams and how they're going about things. Leicester had a couple, like I said, second half, Leicester should be kicking themselves, same way Arsenal, but Leicester should have had about 3-4, in my opinion. Pennant missed a tap-in, and he's a better player than that. He should do a lot better. Fortunately for us, I don't care, people, because we've scored. Like I said, it's good play from them. We've let ourselves down for the goal, people. 7, and this is what I mean from the jump from 16s to 18. Shout out to Zach Away as well. I think he did all right in midfield, and which I think his future's at centre half, but I think he acquitted himself all right. This is what these boys got to learn, you know. Thinking a bit ahead, but if you're going to play first team, if that's Premier League level and you're 7 minutes away from grabbing 3 points, you already know the question marks that are asked. So it is disappointing knowing that we could have walked away with 3 points and we let ourselves down in that regards. But that's something that's actually been here for our under 18s, whoever has played. And that's just a byproduct of where they're at in terms of their footballing life cycle, people. But it was a kick in the teeth because, again, you could see it was happening. It's a lot. I can't remember who from Leicester played it, but it's a lovely ball over the top. It's done our centre halves, you know, it's done them. And this is where positioning is key. Looking at where your striker is off the ball. Their strikers just made a meal of it. Our centre halves are in no man's land. Remy Mitchell's come out. Obviously, I don't even blame the keeper because I think it should have been dealt with. It's a penalty, in it is a penalty. My man steps up, he puts it home, and like I said, we all share a point. We share the spoils with Leicester. Like I said, man, on another day you don't want to be cut open with that and things like that. I can't lie, people. You know, Cancelo should have had a penalty. I don't know how we never got a penalty towards the end of the game. I completely almost forgot that. Both teams finished strongly towards the end, but I personally feel last 10 were very strong from Leicester. But like I said, referee. And there needs to be VAR at this level, because I don't know how we haven't got a penalty for that, but it's a lesson for these boys. And the quicker they learn them, the better. You know, some other points, you know, for Nathan and obviously Edu's son, Luigi Gaspar, they got some minutes. They've had problems with injuries, so it's nice to see them. Obviously, I'm happy to see the schoolboys get minutes. You know, Josh Robertson grabbed a couple minutes. Bradley Ibrahim, obviously, I think had an encouraging game. Amari Richardson scored. Casado Fawn, again, you know, I don't know too much about him, but from what I've seen, he looks a very good technical footballer, very diminutive sort of fullback / can play in a couple of roles. You know, from what I look at, he can play as a wing back and he can also play in midfield. I'm not too sure where his future lies, but I do think he's a very decent player, you know. Mr. Waters at centre half, like I said, I think he's very, you know, he's very raw, you know, when he's playing in defence. But I like him, man. I like all it. I think he's very brave on the ball. I think all these schoolboys look decent, really. Only time will tell how good they actually are and if any can make the grade, people. And that goes for everybody. Shout out to Jeff Cott as well at left back, because I think he's a very underrated one in our 18s, personally. Not saying he's this, that, and the third, but end of the day, people, it should be the other way around. Leicester versus Arsenal, Arsenal versus Leicester. It ended 1-1. On that note, people, I'm going to get out of here. That's what I felt in relation to the game. Please like, comment, subscribe, and all of those sort of things. And check out the rest of my vids. On that note, though, I'm going to have to love and leave you guys. I'm out.